Dr. James J.C. Cooley. That's right. Let's go. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. All right.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer.
Yeah. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life. Yeah. James J.C. Cooley.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got an absolutely magnificent show, part 2, on what we did last week, come your way, because I felt that we ran out of time with these two great guests, and I think that the word and the message that they are putting out is so extraordinary that we're doing part 2. So I'm not going to give it away. Michelle, you're looking at me like I'm getting ready to give away the title. You know, so how you doing? How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great. Yeah, we are, like I said, you ran out of time, and there's so much to be learned with these two amazing returning guests. So we're doing a part 2 of the topic they were discussing a couple of days ago. So we're really excited to have them back.
Well, I'll tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching this on, was it E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Rumble, and 84 other live platforms. Welcome to the show. If you're listening to us on the radio, thumbs up. AM 66 is the answer in Dallas. AM 1170 the answer in San Diego. FM 96.1 the answer in San Diego. welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of it, just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get your answer. Michelle, can you do the honors and introduce the topic of the show, the title of the show, and introduce these two absolutely magnificent, great guests?
Most definitely. So, the silent revolution, bridging generations through wisdom, imagination, and innovation. This is part 2 of this particular topic. So, we're having a sit-down conversation with Dr. James A. Omps. He's an international speaker, educator, writer, philosopher, composer, and musician with an expert understanding of entrepreneurship and entreprenology. And Dr. Pauline Crawford. She's the founder and chief vision officer of Corporate Heart International, author, international speaker, and program director for the International University of Entreprenology. So we're going to just continue the discussion on how do boomers truly listen to those under 30? How do we blend experience with fresh ideas to create enterprises and workplaces where younger generations thrive? Dr. James Omps. Okay, so he spent more than 35 years working with the IUE founder, who always happens to be his late father, Dr. James R. Omps. They work together developing and fine-tuning the discipline of entreprenology. He's also the co-founder and chief strategist who was involved in the creation of the World Association of Visionaries and Entreprenologists in 1991, actively working to take both organizations beyond the physical boundaries of the United States. He has traveled extensively in his bid to create greater visibility for the institution. So there's so much about this amazing man, but we're going to Dr. Pauline Crawford. She's a true visionary with over 30 years of entrepreneurial experience in consultancy. She has dedicated her life to empowering leaders to create people-centric collaborative cultures that generate value. Her mission as a conversation game changer has taken her across the globe, where she has worked with clients in Europe, Asia Pacific, and the United States. She's the founder of Corporate Heart International, established in the UK in 1999, a performance consultancy with a mission to release the full potential of leaders, managers, and employees. You know what? We're going to bring them back on the show because there's so much to learn about them and this topic. Please welcome Dr. James Omps and Dr. Pauline Crawford.
Wow. You know, last week, wow, it's so extraordinary. I did not want to let that moment slip by because it was so much that we were talking about and so much the world need to know. You know, so I want to welcome you guys back, and thanks for accepting to come back on in such a short notice. You know, so one of the things that we talked about, a lot of things last week, we were talking about in search of wisdom, understanding, and focus. And you two, you guys are doing so many absolutely fantastic things out there, educating others on that, especially with the International University Entreprenology, and a lot of great things. I'm so happy to be part of that. You know, you guys bless us, and I tell you, and one of the things I think Dr. Tia is the founder of Viridian Christian University. She watching the show. I sent her the link. She can pop her head in the time. But this is going to be such a great thing. So in part 1, we explored why wisdom, imagination, and innovation matters in bridging generational gaps. Now, in part 2, we gonna go deeper. We're gonna go deeper into that because it's just so much that we need to talk about. So we're gonna go into the how and the why. How both of these are so important, because how to do it and why you're doing it, two different things. So I want to start off with you, Doctor. Now, why is the why and the how so important to developing one's imagination?
You do the why, I do the how.
Yeah.
Why's the why?
Why is the why?
Why are we looking at wisdom and practical tools?
Well, we're the question, I mean, why is it important? It's important because the longer we go without some relevant input, the greater the possibility, if I can put it that way, that we might take the the most popular road rather than the road less traveled. And if we look at where you get wisdom, we always ascribe it to, well, experience begets wisdom, and that's altogether, in my view, that had a lot of weight to it. But don't let it be so. Don't be so enamored with the older generation that you fail to include the very sharp minds of the younger generations. And it's there, bringing those two things together. That's where we create the road to move forward. And I've heard you say it before, JC, we have to go forward. Going backwards, you learn from the past, but you don't live there. And that's where we have to make the commitment to move forward together.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
I love that when you said you learn from the. You said you learn from the past. But say that again, Dr. Omps.
You learn from the past, but you don't go back. This is something that I said.
Yeah, the past you learn from, but you don't live there. And I'm speaking from firsthand experience. If it wasn't for her, I might very well have spent more time in the past than I should have. But that's the, like I said, you learn from it. You don't make a home there.
And you mentioned earlier that Jim is a musician and a composer. And in fact, he has a song which is, "Don't look back unless you're looking for a sweet memory." And I think that is perfect because we don't want to ignore the past. And, younger generations can look at us oldies and go, well, you've been there, we've got the T-shirt, but we have different T-shirts. And of course, you can never be older than you are. So you can't experience the older years until you get them. And that's a simple aspect of what we need to look at when we look at the how. Because obviously, if you're 20, you're going to be different to when you're 70. Even when you're 40, you're going to be different to when you're 15. Along the way, we have different ways of doing things. So if we look at, how we're going to get our act together, it is very important that we listen and we hear and we experience things together, and we won't come out with the same outcome. So we've got to be very open-minded to what are the possibilities of something totally that we've never come across before. And that's where entrepreneurology comes in, because we know there are things in our life that have turned up which weren't there before. If we go back 100 years, even way back when Henry Ford had invented the car, he invented the car because the horse couldn't go any faster. But when the horse was the only transport, nobody could imagine a car.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that makes, because imagination wasn't there. It was just, he had the vision, understanding, focus that he can have a motor horse, a motor horse that travels a lot faster than what that is. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a station break. But you have a platform that you guys are watching us on. You want to be part of this conversation. So I think we're going to take a station break. But if you got any questions, just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break. Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
On this one, I want all my women to stand up. All my real soldiers, yeah, you winner. Gotta be number one. Don't stop till the job is done. You know it starts with a try. Gotta win, gotta spread your wings, gotta fly. Lift up your head. Don't stop till it's down with the bed. No matter how hard it seems, gotta keep on pressing, gotta keep that dream. Be the best you can be. Don't get your victory. Throw your hands up in the sky. Gotta be number one when you win, and you will see that there's a story, man. Now follow the plan. Gotta raise up, be a leader, make a change. It's time for you now. Take a stand.
Welcome to Viridian Christian University, where faith and learning come together to transform lives. At VCU, we believe that education is more than just academics. It's about fostering a community of growth, integrity, and purpose. Whether you're pursuing a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, VCU offers flexible, affordable, and 100% online degree programs that cater to your busy life. Our innovative platform provides a personalized learning experience, empowering you to thrive in today's ever-evolving world. Join a global community of learners guided by an experienced faculty who are committed to your success. With VCU, you're not just earning a degree, you're preparing for a future that integrates faith, leadership, and service. Viridian Christian University, educating with purpose, transforming lives. Learn more at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
The James Cooley Show. It's your life. That's right.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, Victory, a song that I wrote about 4 years ago, a winner is what it's all about. And I can tell you that these two great doctors are winners. And I'm hoping that one day that our university can also team up with you guys, and we just gonna blow it all the way up. So because we're gonna reach people, we gotta reach people around the world to help them understand that they are future leaders of tomorrow. They are future leaders of tomorrow. And and you guys are doing so much right now. I'm going with Entreprenology. Well, this is I want to start out, and I know Michelle is going to take over in a minute. Can you tell our viewers and listeners about Entreprenology? I'm going to give them a quick synopsis so that they understand what we're driving for. Pauline, that's you.
Well, the main essence of Entreprenology is about bringing knowledge, experience, and imagination together. So I think one of the things in terms of the how is that we've got to have people having that experience. Now, we live on Zoom a lot, but ideally we want to have boot camps where people actually get together and actually play together, converse together, and especially different generations. So you can imagine it's like taking the military drill sergeant and putting the dynamics of engagement into that. We want to get people thinking and feeling and being emotional about business and life experience. So the two things come together. So we believe it's about helping people to think for themselves. And that's why the imagination is so important. This is something that, in fact, you came up with your father. The use of imagination, which is a free commodity. Everybody in the world has imagination, but how many of people use it? We wouldn't have the famous things in the world that we never had before, like the Steve Jobs' laptop computer, you know, this came out of an imagination of what could we desire. And when you look at young people, we believe there's a huge amount of possibilities out there with young people. And we want to help them by being the mature, experienced partner. Yeah. So the idea is, what do people know? Yeah, that's important. But what experience do they have, especially when things fail? How do they get over failure? And where does the imagination come in? So in our boot camps, whether it's online or physically, it's really about opening up our mature minds to really listen. And what is the most difficult thing to do is to listen and hear. Now, Jim is a musician, so he hears everything.
Well, you know what? You said to open up your mind, to be a sense of maturity. And one of the things about maturity is also being open to hearing ideas that even may be different from yours, but that also includes, I mean, there's nothing wrong with healthy competition, but there's also something best to say about co-creation instead of being competitive all the time. When you're competitive all the time, you may miss out on those amazing ideas that can help thrive whatever you're working on. So can you kind of go into co-creation as opposed to competition and how that is an essential part of this topic?
You want to take that one?
Well,
like a jam session.
So, yes, a tag team. There's again, as she had to say it, I have played music professionally for most of my adult life, and I've learned a lot just from listening to the lyrics to a song. There's a group called Mike and the Mechanics. They have a song out called Living Years. And it's fascinating because Pauline touched on it earlier, and you've kind of referenced it. That is listening, listen. And the chorus for this particular song is, say it loud, say it clear. You can listen as well as you hear. It's too late when we die to admit we don't see eye to eye. To be able to go forward, we do have to work together. And the young people in the world today, you cannot dismiss their wisdom because it's there. You start to learn from the time you're a toddler, and the learning process, if you're really doing it right, never learns. And I know that you and JC know that, because what you're doing right now, this minute, proves that to me.
It does. And one of the things is to get into the habit of saying, hey, that's interesting. How often have we heard teachers and parents saying, no, you're wrong. No, you can't do that. But if we go into an open mind, then anything anybody says, we can say, well, hey, that's interesting. Take it a bit further. So no idea is stupid. That's one of the most important things. We wouldn't have all the inventions that we have in the world if we had locked them down and said, no, we can't do that. So yes, we can do it. We can do anything that is out there. And when Jim creates music, often it comes from an intuitive sense. He doesn't even know where the words come from. That's right, isn't it?
I've had that experience.
Well, how do we build a culture of co-creation? Like, what are the first steps? Yes, to listen and not always be competitive, but we also have to say, okay, this works. This worked back in my day. This works in my situation. But times have changed, and the younger generation sees things that we may not be able to see. because we're not that, tuned in to what the younger generation is looking for, what their wants and what their needs are. So how do we change that in both generations, in both age gaps, let's just say?
Well, I think one of the things is we changed the emphasis on who's the most important person in the room. It's actually the student, not the teacher. Now, we have an example of this in our own alumni. We have one of our PhDs who runs a school in Kuala Lumpur based on that. So every hour of schooling, 55 minutes is run by the kids. So the teacher is not even called a teacher. They're a facilitator, a coach, and the children build their energy together. And the coach is just there to make sure they don't do anything dangerous. But what happens is when you change the environment, change the experience, people feel free to start composing. I think, we've all had very traditional schooling, certainly I have, where you sat with your hands under your bum and you didn't say anything. And if you did, then people would say, I was told many times, if you didn't talk so much, Pauline, you'd be much more intelligent. Well, I spend my life talking. But that is that traditional way. Now, in this school in Kuala Lumpur, these kids are also multi-faith. There's Muslim, Hindu, and Buddhist, all in the same room. But they're kids. They're kids that have mindsets, and they can express what they do, and they get on with it, and they're not controlled by the teacher. They're allowed to flourish. And that's what we do really with Entreprenology. It's about how do you create, if you like, healthy competition through creative conversations, actions, actually getting your hands into collages or making things. And it's like with jamming. If you're jamming with a kid that can drums and somebody that can do that, you've done that, didn't you? Like when people jam together, they don't have a music score. They just listen to how the music comes together.
And you add what feels right. And believe me, if it wasn't, you'll hear about it. So it gives you an opportunity to change your approach or change the feel. So it is like you said, Michelle, it's the idea that we have to be open to the co-creation process. There's nothing else that will replace that anytime soon. So it's a matter of stepping up and doing what you feel is right, and eventually you'll get the feedback you need to either see another perspective or to be part of moving things in a little bit different direction.
It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle. It's a bit like a jigsaw puzzle, but you've got to let the kids shine, and we're all kids.
When I was doing the course, Entreprenology, I was fascinated because the way that you guys have that set up, where the kids are leading all of the discussions and the topics that they were coming up with based on how you guys created that. It was fascinating to me and for you guys to allow me to be a part of identifying what works and what didn't. So, but everything that I saw worked, so I tell you what, I take a station break. I don't want to do it, but I got to pay the bills. We're going to take a station break. And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. And we got a surprise a guest, not really a guest, that's going to pop her head in and say a couple of things because she's been listening. I tell you what, if you want to be part of this conversation, whichever platform that you're watching this on, all you have to do is go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you, these two doctors got answers for you. It's your life, and we'll see you after the break. And also, this next song is one of Jim's songs. So here we go.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of
us close when we're apart. Talking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of need.
Life is filled with circles and cycles, phases and stages that shape who we are. These moments define us, and we have the choice to either accept or embrace them. Hello, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley, and I encourage you to support the J.C. Cooley Scholarship You Can Award so we can empower high school seniors and college students to believe that they can achieve anything they set their minds to.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, the host of It's Your Life Radio and also founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. With your help through donations to this year's J.C. Cooley Foundation Scholarship Award, we aim to inspire, prepare the next generation of leaders. We kindly ask for your generous support to help bless at least 30 or more future leaders by donating between a minimum of $250 or more. Please consider donating what you can by May 1st and join us in shaping our future leaders of tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. Heart disease research saves lives. It's that simple. Thanks to medical advancements funded by the American Heart Association, more women are surviving heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiovascular diseases than ever before. But there's still so much work to do.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm raising funds to support life-saving research because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, please join me in support of the American Heart Association and women's health.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore them or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guests will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer in Dallas-Fort Worth.
It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley. Yeah. Come on.
Oh, you guys caught me. Hey, Jim. I love that song, man. Smiles. I know Michelle getting ready to take over, and we're gonna bring someone in song. But what was the inspiration behind writing that song?
I was the inspiration.
I had recently relocated from Las Vegas to the outskirts of London, and she had the effrontery to leave me alone while she went to a dinner, and I noticed she's a big fan of mind mapping. I don't understand mind mapping, but she does. But she had sketched this thing out on a fairly decent sized piece of paper, and it was all about smiles. She wanted to create at one point the Smile Academy. And I was looking at that, and while she was in London having a really fine time, I was back in a basement apartment composing that particular piece. And it was written, here's the important part, 9 years prior to our releasing it, because all of a sudden, after only 9 years, the atmosphere seemed to call for that particular. You don't know sometimes why you do something, but it's at one point or another, it either goes away completely or it becomes clear to you. And it became clear to me why I composed that particular piece, because the times started calling for it.
Well, I tell you, in today's time, I got 4 segments of it that we have to start playing this a lot more, because under current circumstances, people need to get rid of the frustration and start smiling and thinking about the purpose and thinking about, hey, it's might be a bad situation right now, but hey, we can get out of this. You know, so I love that song. I love that song. And I'm going to turn it over to Michelle. But before I turn it over to Michelle, I'm just going to bring Dr. Tia Murray on the show. She is the co-founder of Radiant Christian University. I have already talked to her. I told her that, Pauline, I said, hey, all the things that you guys are doing, we're going to have to find a collaboration where we all can work together.
We'd love to.
How you doing, Dr. T?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. So first off, thank you for the invite. And I have heard a lot about the both of you. I'm excited. I get an opportunity to meet you both and just learning more about the university and what you do and the environment that you create for engagement, for learning. I absolutely love it. So I definitely have to agree with JC over there that we're going to have to get together and see how we can collaborate, because what we're doing is making such a huge impact in the world. And we, when we team up, more can be done. So I look forward to further communications and all of that great stuff. And I absolutely love mind mapping. That's like my thing. That's like my go-to. So we have a lot that we can do and get done, Pauline. Absolutely a lot.
Well, as you see, Commander Smiley said, yes, teamwork make the dream works. He's right. He's right about that. I'm going to turn it over to Michelle.
Thank you. And then we'll keep Tia on, Dr. Tia, if you want to stay on. Wait, first of all, do you have a question for these amazing doctors regarding the topic of bridging generations through wisdom, imagination, and innovation? Do you have a specific question for them?
Entreprenology, that's what it's called.
I don't know if it's so much a question, but I really can agree with what you're saying. When you allow for imagination to occur, regardless of the age, so many more things can be done. And the fact that you have used that as a premises for your university to do and to touch as many lives as you've done, I think is absolutely amazing. But a question that I think I could probably ask, because I face this too as we started our university, people find it difficult to wrap their mind around the concept of what it is that you're saying. They're like, okay, I hear you. But so how did you deal with those that's like, okay, this is something different that, okay, on the premise, it sounds really great. But when you go a little bit further, like, what is it? How did you deal with things like that?
Well, we've had to deal with a lot of
Naysayers.
Yeah.
But one of the things we say is that, the value is your life. So never underestimate the value of life's experiences. And then when people think about their life experiences and actually putting a value on that, a credential, and I mean, if you imagine, if you could put a dollar value on experiences, all the good experiences that have lifted you, that's really what we say with a life track. So Entreprenology is an earned life credential. There are obviously content parts of it, but it's all about what do you do with that? And do you understand the language that is around you? And this is where I think it's fascinating with different generations, because we have different language patterns. And then we have different language patterns between men and women. And we have different language patterns between different nations. So not just our language, French, German, Russian, whatever, but actually the way we interpret things So when you're in your baby boomer years, which we are, and I don't think you are,
I'm not too far behind.
and you're talking to 20-year-olds or even 30-year-olds, you've got to remember that some words they sound like the same words we used to know, but they don't mean the same. I remember the first time some younger person said, "Oh, that's really sick." And I went, "What? Oh, it's good. Sick means good." And I'm thinking, okay, sick doesn't mean good in my language. But we need to, and again, you could look at music, you could look at classic waltz, then you look at the Beatles, then you look at garage, you look at hip hop, and then, all of those music is different languages. So we've got to really be interested in different language patterns. And when we don't understand it, say, hey, that's really interesting. Because we need to engage with where they're at, and they need to engage where we're at.
And very quickly here, if I might add then I'll be short. One of the things that used to frustrate my father, he was a professor at the University of Hawaii in his last several years, and he said, if I put a question out to a class, he said, let's assume it only has 5 students. You should get at least 4 different answers. But he said, we are so focused on there's only one right answer, because on a test, that's all there is. One right answer. He said, life is not one right answer. So that's entrepreneurology was built around that.
I like that. I
do too. That's great. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that story. It's great. Absolutely great.
And I think it's very important that life and business comes together. I study women entrepreneurs particularly, and what I see is that women bring life to work in a way that traditional men have not, but entrepreneurs do. So entrepreneurs see life and business, enterprise building as all part and parcel. So emotions come into it as well as strategy and all this stuff. And that, I think, is the growth of entrepreneurs and entreprenologists are the ones that are going to change the world. But we need to understand the language that we're speaking, and sometimes traditional business doesn't understand it.
Okay, well, you know what? We got 2 minutes before a break, so I'm going to bring back Dr. Cooley so he can comment on this section. And I'm going to ask my question after the break. It's about mentorship. And I think it's a very important question, because when we think of mentorship, we're thinking from the youth going forward, young to old. We don't think of it from old to older to young. So that's definitely important when you're talking about mentorship. So actually, Dr. Cooley, we'll got 1 minute. So I just see that Mr. James,
I don't know what happened to my camera, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now.
Okay.
But we're gonna take a station break. This is an absolutely extraordinary conversation, and I tell you what, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments on whichever platform you're watching us on. Ask any questions that you might have. When we come back, we got another surprise guest that's got a question that they want to ask. And so I tell you what, sit back, grab you another bag of popcorn, because it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
At Viridian Christian University, we believe education is more than just a degree. It's a pathway to a purpose-driven life. Whether you're advancing your career, pursuing a passion, or building a new future, VCU's 100% online programs give you the flexibility to learn on your terms, anywhere, anytime. With expert faculty, personalized mentorship, and a faith-centered approach, you'll gain the skills, knowledge, and leadership you need to make a lasting impact. VCU offers bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees, each designed to empower you for success in today's fast-changing world. Join a global community of believers, learners, and leaders. Ready to start your journey? Viridian Christian University, transforming lives, empowering futures. Visit us at ViridianChristianUniversity.com. That's ViridianChristianUniversity.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. Hi, Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Cooley. I've heard so many powerful stories from women who survived heart disease because they took action in time. But I've also heard stories of women who weren't as lucky. The difference? Awareness, access to care, and early intervention. According to the American Heart Association, every 80 seconds, a woman in the United States dies from cardiovascular disease. That's more than one life lost every single minute. But did you know that 80% of heart disease cases are preventable? That's right, 80%. That means small changes like eating healthier, exercising, and managing stress can save lives.
Hi, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and I'm committed to making sure that more women survive and strive. Please join me in raising funds for the American Heart Association to support life-saving research, because every heartbeat is worth fighting for. In honor of Women's History Month, let's spread awareness and help women recognize the warning signs before it's too late.
A Black Man's Point of View is the newest Amazon.com #1 release and bestseller book from author Dr. James J.C. Cooley, featuring the perspective from 11 other contributing authors. In A Black Man's Point of View, Dr. James Cooley unpacks his thoughts and personal experiences about the challenges, stereotypes, and feelings of self-worth that many black men face today due to a 400-year ancestry rooted in slavery and colonization. Yet, how so many black men move forward despite this history. Most importantly, A Black Man's Point of View conveys that all men, regardless of race, creed, or color, are capable of love, respect, and dignity. Described as a map to a greater life from the heart of a man who's experienced life's misfortune and harsh conditions, James shows us how beliefs, convictions, and a healthy mentality can help propel a life worth living. A must-read for all. Order your copy of A Black Man's Point of View by author Dr. James J.C. Cooley today from Amazon.com or wherever books are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I'm just sitting back just having so much fun, just listening, because I understand entrepreneurology. I understand what Dr. Jim and Dr. Pauline have been doing and been working together over the last couple of years, and I love what they're doing. And Dr. Tier, as the co-founder of Reading Christian University, I talked to her about that the other day. I said, hey, we have to be able to collaborate with them, because our message is similar to the same. You know, that we have to be able to do that. But it's another person that's been listening to the show. I want to bring him on, and he's going to have a question in a minute after Michelle asks hers. I want to bring on my friend for 35 years. We served in the White House. We served in the military together. We served a whole lot. William Smiley, Commander. How you doing, Commander? Commander, I can't hear you. You muted.
What a great name.
There you go. I'm so happy to be back. Those your two favorite guests right there. I like them. Those are two very, very astute doctors you got online.
Oh yeah. You watched the show the last week, and you kept commenting. This is the guy that was commenting.
Yes.
And he came up with his definition of wisdom. I don't know if you know that, Jim. So I tell you what, we're gonna turn it over to Michelle. Then after Michelle asks her question, Commander Smiley got a question that he want to ask.
Thank you. Before the break, I talked about mentorship. And when we talk about mentorship is always seen a younger person looking to the older generation to be their mentor. You hardly hear it the reverse. Why is reverse mentorship so important even from a seasonal professional seeking mentorship from a younger person, for someone in the younger generation? Why is that important?
Well, I'd like to answer that. I think it's because otherwise we're wasting the talent both sides. You know, if half the world is under 30, then half the world is over 30. And it's about sharing great ideas, because the world is changing so fast. I mean, I'm not too bad with AI and technology, but I'm not going to be as good as a 24-year-old. So I want to learn from them, and they can learn from us. And I see we could create some amazing enterprises by matching up 20-year-olds with 60-year-olds, and both will learn. It's like it just makes common sense to me. And one of the things that I learned from Jim's father, who was the founder of our university, he talks about the unteachables. Now, the unteachables are the things that we have innate in us, whether we're 70, 60, 50, or 20. And those are the things like creativity and passion and risk and innovation. So we can share those across the whole spectrum. It's not about somebody being in charge of somebody else. It's about sharing best practice. That's the way I see it.
Well, and very, very quickly, in his desire to nail this down, Dad was great with acronyms. His acronym for this was CRIMP. These were the unteachables. Creativity. You can't teach somebody to be creative. You can nurture them, you can do all kinds of things, but you can't teach them creativity. Risk, he said, you can't teach people to accept risk. They either will or they won't. You can nurture, you can move them in certain directions. I is innovation, imagination, independence. M was motivation. He said, my dad told me, I said, you're the frustration of my life. No matter what I do, I cannot motivate you. And I said, you're right. You'll never be able to motivate me. I am the only person that can motivate me, and I have to see a reason to be motivated. And then the last one, of course, was passion,
Purpose,
and purpose.
and Pauline, AOSP.
And perseverance. Again, it's not how many times Pauline, yes. It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up. We've all heard that, but it's true. So, I mean, they're the unteachables, and I've got to believe, not knowing any more than I do about Viridian, I've got to believe that you also have a list of unteachables. And I think they would fall roughly in the same categories, but we're taking two similar directions towards the same goals, and that's a good place to start.
Yes,
that is an absolutely fantastic place to start. I think Commander smiled out. You said you had a question, Commander. What is your question? You on mute again. You are on mute.
I love it. I had so much on my mind that I have to contain myself. See, when you have Dr. Jim and Dr. Pauline on here, and I listened to them last time, my question is, when you look over your life and all the things you've done to get to where you're at, who was that person in your life that got you there? Who trained you? Who made you that mentor? Who made you, other than your father? I get it. Parents are important. But who else other than that made you come out and say, hey, I got to help others. I want to make sure I bridge that gap of wisdom between younger and older generations?
Oddly enough, my father was obviously a great influence, but it was my mother that pushed me in the right direction.
Yes. And I think my father and mother were great role models to me, because they were, interesting enough, they weren't entrepreneurs, but they were always out there doing things. They never sat down and complained, and they both were in their 90s when they passed, and they were always active. They were doing this, they were designing films, they were out being creative. And that really inspired me. I didn't want to sit home and do nothing. I just want to get out there. So I actually met Jim here in Budapest. I was in London, he was in Las Vegas, and we met in Budapest. How synchronistic was that on Thanksgiving Day, 2011? And I nearly didn't go because I didn't want to go to this conference. He nearly didn't go, but the angels took us there. And that's where we then took this journey to Malaysia, and now the US, and now the world. And that's what I want the young kids to also understand. But, they're looking forward. They haven't done lots of things yet. They've done a lot. And you don't want old people who are going to be boring.
Yeah.
It's all about stories. It's about sharing our stories and listening to their stories, even though they may have only been here 25 years or 30 years. They've all got something that they can share, and they can ask questions of us and we can ask questions of them. And I really do feel that half the world is under 30, half the world is over 30. That's a great partnership.
And that is an absolutely fantastic point. Now we're down to 2 minutes of the show. Jim and Pauline, what are 3 takeaways you want our viewers and our listeners to get from this absolutely magnificent conversation? And also, we got to do part 3. I mean, but what are 3 takeaways real quick? You got a minute.
For me, the big takeaway today is it's a core human right to think for yourself. And we've had traditional education forever that has said, no, just sit there and behave. We've really got to let people think for themselves, whatever the crazy ideas are. Steve Jobs said famously, it's the crazy people who change the world. So maybe we're all crazy. But that would be my takeaway. You can think for yourself, whatever your life situation is, think for yourself, share, express, and be interested.
Jim, what are yours?
Well, mine, and I'll start with bring knowledge, experience, and imagination together. If you can do those 3 things, you'll unlock the secrets of the universe, because we can't move forward if we don't make the best use of those 3 elements.
Yeah, you're right. And my thing is, in order to move forward, you can look back in the past, but don't walk that way. Always stay in the present and have imagination of what we can do for tomorrow. So I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to come on the show. I'd like to thank Michelle for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank my producers in San Diego and my producers in Dallas. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners for tuning into the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life.